What's going down, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about how to rectify your Tuesday, because today is Tuesday and we're doing a continuation of the series of taking control of the day and having it in your power. Okay, so when we deal with Tuesday, this is the Mars energy. So all the archetypes and all of the energy that is represented by Mars deals with you directing your energy and desires and what you're trying to direct towards a goal. So this is where that energy of I'm hungry for something, you know what I'm saying? That drive, that thing that drives you every day to wake up and get something. It also deals with sexual desires, and it deals with kind of like your urges in a lot of different ways too, because it deals more so with like the root chakra-esque area when we deal with the scorpionic aspect of the Mars energy playing out. But when you take Mars and you add it to the Aries archetype, when we start to deal with the medical astrology aspect, Aries is dealing with the headspace. So Mars is very passionate, and then Mars comes up with a lot of great ideas in order for it to go and obtain its goals and its passions and everything. But the Scorpio aspect, that deep root chakra aspect, that's the deep initiating desire of it and everything like that. But that's just Mars in a nutshell. Mars is a very fierce and war-driven planet. Not saying anybody who's an Aries or Scorpio or Capricorn, because Mars is exalted in Capricorn, are aggressive people. It's just that you carry a fearless energy about yourself. So if you are put in situations where you have to overcome adversity and shit, you have the sword and you have the strength and the willpower to actually be able to go through these situations regardless of how you feel and regardless of how sticky it is. You have the strength and the bravery to actually go and do these things. But let's talk about rectifying Tuesday for yourself anyway. You're going to pay attention to where you have your first house and your eighth house, what temperaments are in, aka zodiac sign, are in those houses. So again, I'll use me for an example. I have Pisces in the first house, and I have Libra in the eighth house. So kind of like for me, it's almost like it plays out in reverse. Tuesday plays out in reverse for me. So it's kind of like this balancing out magnetic energy that I kind of have to be consciously aware of in order for the day to be smooth, and knowing that there might already be frictionless based energy just based upon the kind of spirit I have and the kind of space I chose to take as a spirit, taking a vessel, aka my ascendant sign. So these are the spaces that I wanted to experience the first house and eighth house energy throughout the manifestation of Tuesday, the lower density energy of these representations. So for me, it's like, okay, the first house is the external pushing out of the Martian Tuesday energy, and the eighth house is what you're going to be more so receiving from other people and everything like that, because it's the eighth house and it's the feminine aspect, so it's already dealing by default energies of receiving, and with the first house dealing with the yang, the masculine external pushing out representation, you're already going to be pushing this energy out and everything like that. But these are the backdrop. These two energies will be the backdrop for me personally on Tuesday. The combination of Pisces, mutable water, and Libra, cardinal air. So even thinking about that, we're dealing with two Venusian energies. And I'm just using me as an example. We're dealing with two Venusian energies in my Martian houses. Okay? So the way I push off my passionate energy, my aggressive energy, my goal-oriented energy will be more in like related to other people on an emotional sense. So even though it's more so backed by passion and drive, there's a sensitive edge. That's almost like an oxymoron and everything like that. There's a sensitive edge to me pushing out what I'm passionately involved in my personal life, because the first house deals with your personal life and the things that you're personally invested in and everything like that. It can also deal with more so physical representations, but that's more so kind of like what house and angles are doing to your first house and everything like that. So that would be the energy I would be pushing off, is like relating to people emotionally, getting to understand where people are coming from on an emotional sense and everything like that. But there is slightly somewhat of a frictionless energy, because Venus, the planet Venus, which the archetype of Venus is opposite to the archetype of Mars, is exalted in Pisces, the mutable water temperament. So that means is that with this energy, the Venus energy is kind of like on the throne and it's in the first house space, which Mars rules here. So it's kind of like Venus and Mars living together, but Venus feeling like that it could do everything that it wants to do, but yet this is Mars. This is the Martian house. This is Mars house. So it's like you have to, when you're a Pisces rising, you have to make sure you don't over relate yourself and everything like that, because you might experience rejection moments and everything like that. Yeah, y'all don't pay attention to this cruddy ass looking shit right here. Yeah, this room is old and everything. Save y'all roast for whatever. I mean, they ain't even about that. So let me not even give that energy and everything. So when you have, for example, so that would be what I would be pushing out. So the yin aspect of Tuesday for me, what I would be receiving from other people would be the Libra archetype, the cardinal air archetype. So kind of like with the first house, we're trying to relate to other people emotionally. People might be trying to communicate with me. People might be even trying to talk about their deep shit that they're going on that I have no business even wanting to know or anything like that, just because of the energy that I give off from me having Libra in my 8th house and everything. There, and it's not like exaltation. Libra just, I mean, Venus naturally just rules Libra. And it's and it's the 8th house. So this is like the 8th house and the 7th house, which the 7th house represents Libra. They're next to each other, so they kind of understand each other in somewhat of a different way and everything like that. However, Venus is debilitated in the 8th house. Not in a bad way in far as like when you compare the fall and the debilitation and everything like that. So it's like there's this natural magnetic energy of the Libra archetype and the 8th house archetype playing out with Libra in the 8th house. People just, it's just like I've noticed that I tend to attract people who they just communicate, they create the conversation, initiating, which is cardinal, which is creating new, and sparking, air, which is dealing more so with intellect and communicating and everything. So people just communicate this, like I'll just be at work and everything like that, and then one of my co-workers on a Tuesday, because this is the energy that's playing out the most with the first and the 8th house, and the Tuesday energy highlighting both the first and the 8th house. So those energies are already more playing out and highlighted than any other energy you have in your zodiac wheel. So that would be the energy you would be receiving if you have Libra in the 8th house, such as myself. People just come and just talk to you about all their personal issues and shit like that. And it's like, what the fuck and everything. Like, I didn't even ask for this. Sometimes it's best not to even chip in and even add your opinion on that. You know what I'm saying? Because then you might manifest that opposite energy with the 2nd house being in Aries, and you may receive people not valuing your opinion or what you have to say or what you have to chip in and everything in an aggressive way and everything. So keep this shit to yourself and everything. But at the same, like I said, this is energy that you push out. But at the same time, you naturally being a Pisces rising, you play out these energies too. You may relate your deep things, what you got deeply going on and everything. But you have to know yourself, and can't be foolish about it. You have to understand what you want to be deep about with people and what you want to be vulnerable about with people. You see what I'm saying? So now when we start to get into like where your Mars is in your sign. So let's start with the zodiac sign, aka the temperament. Okay, so I have Mars in Leo. So when you have Mars in Leo, this is when Tuesday comes about. This is the energy that's highlighted. I am being very passionate about being fixated on a particular creative vision that I have going on, whether that's creating clothes, a piece of clothing, whether it's a vision of a business idea or a certain transaction that I'm trying to work on, whether it's in real estate, whether I'm doing my side hustles like pressure washer and car cleaning, grass cutting and shit like that, doing astrology, music and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Doing things like that, you know what I'm saying? The Leo being kind of almost being like the center of it, but you still have to make sure you don't go overboard, and you have to balance out whatever the opposite element would be. In this case, Mars and Aquarius. Make sure you're not making yourself the center of attention and only being it about you. Direct this passion towards something where people can be involved in it and everything like that. If you make clothes, make it to where people can be involved. And this is if this is going to be going on the day of Tuesday, if you have Mars and Leo. This would be the energy that's highlighted so you can manifest the most if you do it the right way and put the energy in the right way. So yeah, with with that archetype, Mars and Leo, you would have to do the opposite energy, which is Aquarius. So you have to understand the crowd that you're working with, the audience that you're working with, the associations that you're working with, and you have to make them a part of what you got going on. If you're making clothes, teach them how to make clothes and everything like that, and make them market your stuff or something like that. They might know people, and they may know certain stores that have certain foot traffic and have a good amount of foot traffic to where you can put your shirts in these stores, and then you can start generating revenue and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So it could play out like that too. And then, like, let's say you have Mars in, I don't know, Sagittarius or something like that. You got to direct this Tuesday energy. You got to be passionate about teaching. This may be a good day to teach, and, like, not necessarily push your religious or spiritual sense down people's throat, but really do it in a passionate way to where people can feel you and everything like that. Because you'll receive, whether negative or positive, receive blessings from God and everything like that. You will receive those energies the right way. You just got to ride the wave a lot of times, and not be privy to any kind of expectation that you might be expecting and everything like that when it comes to that. Also, depending on what house you have Mars in too. So if you have Mars in, like, the 4th house, and it's extremely debilitated in the 4th house too. So when you're going about the day of Tuesday and you have Mars in the 4th house, you got to be very careful that you don't play out energies to where you're being too aggressive to family members or people that you're close with. And if you sense aggression or hostileness from people that are close to you within the home, or people that you're close to and that you communicate and share your emotions with privately too, you just got to be very aware and be very privy, especially on a day like Tuesday, because if you feed too much of that energy is already highlighted and already kind of full of the cup. So if you pour too much into that cup, you're just going to, like, get your ass kicked or some shit like that. But anyway, I love y'all, and till next time, peace out. BeTheAll since 1995, y'all. Out.